Welcome back to a Pontiac video. ShopDog says we've got to catch some people up on what we've been doing. So, if everyone remembers, we ordered from Dakota the handle for the cut down. So instead of the full length handle, we cut a chunk off of the spare handle. You cut a little bit off of there, installed that, and then if you recall, the 68 and later or 69 and later handle wouldn't work, so I had to order one that's a slide over that slides over this chunk here. And we had this fancy little housing, which you've got to disassemble this to slide on. However, the hole here, which fits that shaft, does not in any way even close come to fitting on the HND1, which is what we're using. So I'm going to go show you where we're at.
Hang on, before you go though. So this one, so one of these came with the car originally, and one came from the steering column that we got. We had this one. We did this fancy thing so it matched all the other chrome in the car.
Right, but this is for a modern turn signal switch.
And this one bolts on, and those screw in. Yep.
Correct. Okay, so everybody remembers where we're at. So what I did was play in our paint booth, and I'm not done with what I want to do, but this is where we're at. One, we're going to have to make sure that this is pretty in there, which it is finally now. Two, I'm still working out how to make the wire less visible. This, I think after a week you wouldn't notice, but at first it would definitely drive you crazy. But you can see we painted the wire that was black. So I don't know how happy I am with this yet. We want to think about it. So that's kind of where we're at on that. None of this has really changed this week. It's Thanksgiving week in America. So from last video, you recall, Diesel was down in the well, working over here, getting all this done. And one of the things that we're getting closer and closer to doing is burning in the carpet, which is how we're going to do all the bolt holes. It's a lot easier than trying to cut it with a knife and hoping it doesn't fray. We just take a portable soldering iron, get it really hot, and poke it through. Or you can take your torch and heat up a screwdriver, whatever it is. And for holes like the seatbelt holes, which you'll note, like one's right here, the bolt is still there. When we actually lay the carpet for real, all the bolts will be out. You lift the car up, you climb under it, you look for the hole, and you poke the hot screwdriver through. And that locates them positively instead of guessing. So now I'm going to see what their reactions to all this are. Okay, so I've got that uninstalled now, and you can see how it works. It's just a couple set screws, and then it fits a shaft of various sizes. It's not ideal, but this is the problem. Is that little sleeve has to slide not only over the thickness of its diameter, but over that wire as well because of how it comes out. And this does not come apart. And then of course you can see that this was oil changes and maintenance weekend. So, did tires on her car and fuel filter on my truck. And I don't know if we showed everybody, but the Impala is back because this winter, if I ever finish the wiring on the Henry, then I can do the wiring on the Impala. So, finish the air conditioning and redo the wiring. Won't be show car kind of look, but it would definitely make me feel better. I get real nervous with these glass fuses. They're not my favorite. So you can see under here, I don't care for all of that. So it is nice to have at home though. So one of the other things we had talked about last week is how we're going to do this console, because they want cup holders. And I'm going to assume that a week ago we looked at some pictures and saw cup holders, and now we're holding some.
Yes, so we ordered up a couple of sizes.
I think I like the metal better.
Yeah, these are both about the same diameter.
This was just way deeper.
Yeah, very deeper. And get your cup there, Pix.
This is the important thing. What fits her cup? Wow, that's actually pretty sloppy.
Yeah, it's pretty sloppy. And we put in
And
a...
this one isn't
No,
as
that's-
deep, so...
Yeah.
Wow.
And we put in a standard Starbucks cup, and it was even sloppier. And then when I look at these, you know, when we think about...
That's always the thing. They only show you the one dimension. Now, remember, we can probably go up to this.
Yeah.
So it would fit. You might want to order some standards, too, instead of jumbos. Or did you get some?
I did, and I started with these, and I figured we'd see what works and what doesn't.
What's with the peg on the bottom, I wonder?
This one's for marine applications. Look at
Oh,
this.
okay, because water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tie this into something. And
Yeah, and then have a tube going down to, so anything that spills or any rain goes down to the bilge.
So this gives us a start on, at least spacing-wise. We picked up a couple of, you know.
Yeah, because these things are, usually $4 or $5.
Yes, it was a little kit. And what I really liked about this one, it had this really cool looking little faceplate. And I thought, well, for whatever that was $8, I think. Also picked up, this is that's for the amp.
Your power distribution.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one's going to work, but I picked up a couple of back.
Wow, you picked up an awful lot of cup holders.
Well, they came in kit. That was the only way to get them. You had to get like,
Okay.
and that was a small kit.
Well, if nothing else, we're not talking the end of the world here.
No. It's all returnable.
Yeah, that looks like a standard bus bar like I use in cars. Yeah. I like the marine bus bars because they're stainless.
Yeah, and this one here, this is just the next size down, or next size up, 3/8 versus 5/16. So we'll see. I'm going to
Gives you a chance to see which one you prefer.
Yeah, I'm going to start with this. I think this is going to be too big for the wiring we have, but it's what they had in stock, so I just grabbed it. So we'll see. We'll play with some sizes and stuff.
Okay, but yeah, gotta start thinking these projects through because they do take time. But I know we said it last week, and I think we even said it the week before. But with any luck, maybe the carpet will be in this week. That would be a nice start because then we could really start fitting things. Okay, it looks like ShopDog's in checking their progress, and Diesel's learning that cheap zip ties don't always work. Over here, I'm working on modifying this to fit. So I've already drilled that out, and then you can see I'm trying to create space to fit that wire over. So hopefully, I'm trying to not actually physically notch it out if I don't have to. We're getting closer. I can almost get it to fit. Okay, so we got it. You see, because you had to pop that switch. So I got that back in there, and now it all works. Looks pretty good. The gap is not as bad as I thought it would be. Luckily, I had set these guys aside, so I know where those are. So now it's seeing what length they like. Pixie's heading up. Something fell over there. Oh, a pan. So the way we're going to do these two holes, because they're the hardest ones to locate, is she's going to hold the carpet, and then I'm going to slide under here with the soldering iron and just burn them through. So when you come under here, you can see where the bolt holes are. So I'll just pass that through and burn them in. All right. So now they're starting the two in the middle. Seems silly, but those are difficult ones to get started usually. It only takes 3 people to do it apparently, but we're getting all this. So unfortunately, in this car, that just doesn't reach anything. So we've been heating a punch and popping her through. And yeah, now this will get trimmed down, but not until it has to. You only cut once. Well, we did have a drop in today, but we're working towards getting more of this burned in. So he's learning where everything is. Now we've got that giant hole for the shifter. And of course, we've got the studs for the gas pedal. So I'm actually going to crawl into the engine bay where I can reach that and just reach forward and burn the center of that location, just because we're going to have to trim that out, but we really don't want to do it twice. This is why we did all that work. So we just burned those holes around there, and now all that fit in really, really nice. Sometimes it seems like a lot of work to make a measurement, but he just put that piece back away, and in fact we even made a custom helping mod. So we've got the shifter actually bolted down probably permanently. The console's coming back out, but remember, we're not going to be using this plate. We're going to make a plate, and we needed to make sure just how deep we had down to the tunnel. Oh God, plenty. That is not going to be an issue. So if we have 2 cup holders and then some power points back here, and a plate made out of probably 2 layers of acrylic, one looking fun and one being structural. Yeah, this should work out pretty slick. I think we got a solution in here. Okay, I'm getting ready to crawl under, and because of the style of accelerator pedal, there's 2 studs that go in the floor. So he's going to push that. I'm going to crawl into the engine bay, heat up another drift, which, you know, just like we've been doing with everything. And then there's a plate down there that has 2 drilled holes in it. I'll shove it through, and then we'll have those exactly located. Right. It seems like a lot of work, but we finally have it all burned in. Yeah, and those are mats out of the Impala. They're just helping the back so that we knew where to do things. I don't personally like to cut these until we have to. I'm going to wind up cutting up here and over there as I finish up some wiring. The rest of this, Pixie can trim out when they're ready to do sill plates. Sill plates never cover as far as you think they do. In fact, we've even talked about maybe just putting the original sill plates in the short term and getting this all welted in those. Because the last thing I like to put in is the sill plates, because they get beat up. You know, and for as thin as they are and as expensive as they are, let's not beat them up. You can see plenty of clearance. And this, of course, is why they had run these under the car outside. I mean, we see why they did what they did. Nobody in their right mind would do this kind of work if they were paying a shop to do it. But if it's just you and your buddies, you can do it. And this is going to be safer. It's not outside. It's not where mice and squirrels and rocks off the road and moisture are. It's just a better solution. And now you can see where the seats mount. And remember, we had made those stands here. Well, once the seats are in here, you'll never notice all this spacing. It's funny how you only see what you want to see. So yeah, that really worked. Not much fun. We're gonna close out the video. I gotta find these 2 nuts back here for this vent, because we can finally put that in now. But you can see it's coming along nice. So at this point, I think that's what we're gonna get done today. We did have a drop by for some broken wheel studs. So, you know, safety always kind of takes precedent. And this is still drying, because even though I painted it in there, it was easier to hang it here. So you saw earlier that we got that fancy shiny cover on here. I'm not left-handed. There we go. So that'll look nice. I wish there was a better solution for the wire. There really isn't. It was hard enough even getting the horn wire that belonged in there in that joint. There's 0 chance that cable would fit in this joint here. The other thing we're going to have to make sure is when we do put this in, we're going to put some blue Loctite on it. So, because, you know, it's going to want to turn. It's not our favorite, but, you know, it's what we have. We're really happy with that. That's so much more sturdy than we expected it to be. And then having those spacers, that takes up the distance through the carpet. No, that worked. So I just got to finish out the wiring in this corner, and then I can cut the dimmer grommet in, and that'll be that. So at this point, I guess all we can say is thanks for watching.